The diagonal of a square is 8.5 feet. Find the area of the square to the nearest tenth. Hint, draw a picture. So let's follow their hint. Let's draw a picture. There we go. Got a square. And then they're telling us the diagonal. So I'm going to go down the diagonal is 8.5. So the diagonal is 8.5. Okay, and then they want me to find the area of a square. How am I going to do that? You know the area of a square formula. That's going to be length times width, right? Length times width. Or you really could just call it, because the two sides are actually the same, aren't they? In a square, you can call them both x. So it's just x squared, right? Because in a square, the two sides are actually the same. So instead of length times width, you can just call it x times x or x squared. Okay, so that's the area of the square. It's x squared, but we don't know x. How are we going to find x on this problem? What are we going to do to find x? Well, do you see that we have a right triangle here? Right? Do you see this right here? This is a right triangle. So we do this a lot, don't we, where we have right triangles. Right? Let me just shade this in. This is a right triangle. If I just look at half of the square, you know, it's a right triangle. What do we do whenever we have right triangle? A squared plus b squared is c squared, right? That's what we always do when we have a right triangle. Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared is c squared. Which side is c? The side across from the right angle is your c. That's the longest side. That's the 8.5 squared. And the other two sides are both x squared plus x squared. So you need to do a little algebra here. This is 1x squared and 1x squared. That's 2x squared. 8.5 squared, use my calculator here. I'm getting 72.25 divided by 2. And so x squared equals, my calculator says 36.125. And then square root it. And so I get x equals, let me see here, 6.0104. So I've got x. I can come back up here and put in x now. 6.0104. Same thing here. This x is 6.0104. So now I can find the area. Now bring that back and pop it in. The area is going to be 6.0104 squared. Because the area of a square is just one side times the other. The two sides are the same. So square that, and I'm getting 36.125. Oops. There we go. 0.125, which makes sense because that's what it said x squared is right here. I could have just went right there, huh? That's what x squared is. Clearly, it's 36.125. We actually had it back here. We could have stopped right there, actually. We had x squared, which is the area formula. 36.125. So the area of the square, and they want us to nearest tenth. So I'll just say 36.1. They say nearest tenth. So the area of that square must be 36.1. So how did we get that square's area? We did it by finding the x by the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared is c squared. X squared plus x squared is 8.5. Solve for x. Then the area of the square is just one side times the other, x squared. And so there we go.